Well, now it's sort of a network. But going back to when I first came back to New Orleans and was trying to figure out, as a composer, how do you make a living? Because it's only recently that schools are dealing with the issues of what are you going to do with yourself when you get out of school if you choose not to just stay in and move on to teaching. Or performing, I guess, if you're one of the lucky few to get into your field performing. And I remember what I did was blindly as a kid, man, I just wrote some little bit of music because MIDI was just coming out. This is '84, so you didn't really have the whole kind of setup you could do now and lock everything. We used to use those Roland drum machine pulse tones to lock up, and it was pretty, and it certainly was difficult. And I just went around and hustled some ad agencies, just knocked on a door, got into a meeting, and said, look, I'd like to write some music. Didn't really know what I was doing, and in terms of talking to them, I didn't even know how to speak to them. I'd never tried to sell what I could do. And I remember I got 4 commercials for Mississippi Power. Buddy of mine, Kenny Morrison, was shooting them, so that felt good. I knew that guy. And I remember, though, they paid me $500 a spot. It was $2,000, and I thought I was in heaven. Because I was like, there's a new computer, I'm just thinking about what I can do with the money to kind of do what I want to do. And I remember I called Kenny and said, look, man, I've done some demos, but I'd like to play them for you before I play them for them. And so he met me, it's like a drug deal, man. Our cars pull up in a parking lot, I get out, hop in his car, the old days of cassette tapes, and I said, he listens to it and he goes, man, what are they paying you for this? I played him one spot. I said, well, they're paying me $500 a spot. So I said, it's $2,000 for the gig. He said, well, I would have paid you $2,000 for this one. I said, oh, okay. And so the next one, so you just learn little bit by little bit how to price yourself, how to go in there. And as you started doing, of course, if you did it well and you knew how to talk to people and be told, we want golden music that makes us feel like we're XYZ, and how do you translate that into music? It became pretty. It started rolling, and I got very fortunate. And it was at a time in New Orleans when literally nobody was doing it. So I could basically scoop up all the low-end work. They were paying 40 times that to out of town. I didn't know, but they were paying 20, 30 times that to people out of town. So I was getting the low-end work, but was thrilled with it. Then I figured out the game, I figured out the business and changed my approach.